Check 1, 2. Oh, good morning. Welcome to the class. I know some of you have to be deeply amazed. Like, we have been now on the air for what, about a month?
Yes.
So we've been on the air for about a month, and we've already got I think over 30 different episodes,
Yes.
right? So between the podcast episodes where we're just generally talking and the actual classes, we are up to 30, and we went from chapter 19, and we're now here at chapter 33. And we're going to pick right up. We're going to dive right in. And some of the classes may be coming up in and out of order. We're just kind of really just releasing the material. Like, we want you to have the information, and it will become more and more pertinent as a day-to-day basis as the times change. But we're going to keep plowing through, because as we continue to read and expound upon this law to you, your situations will continually get worse, and our situation will continually get better. So we're going to continue.
Yes.
All right. So chapter 33, verse 12, and Moshe said before Yah, "Law, what hast thou said to me?" "La, what hast thou said to me?" That is funny. I had to take a minute there. He says la. I know it says lo, but you have to understand, okay? The Hebrew dialect is an Arabic dialect, all right? So la, no. Right? What hast thou said to me? Take this people up, but thou hast made me to know whom thou wilt send with me. So thou hast not made me to know whom thou wilt take with me. So Moses is like, no. I brought these people up out of Egypt. You didn't tell me who to take. So whoever came, I brought them, except these people.
Right.
But what do you mean you don't want these people? Who else am I gonna go get?
Yeah, they done did a lot of things by this point.
Oh
It's
yeah.
are you sure these people?
So this is the conversation that Moses and the Most High is having when the cloud descends. Okay, so what you're going to learn is this overlapping. So you read about while the people were given him an evil eye, and that the cloud descended and the Most High spoke with him. But this is what they were saying in that moment. So while they're inside the cloud, and Joshua is over there, and the Most High is talking to Moses like he talks to a friend, Moses is like, "Hey man, nah, you gotta accept these people. I brought these people up with all of that you did for them to bring them out, and I brought them here, and we did all this to come into this covenant. Now you're telling me you don't want these people."
These wicked people. Yeah.
Right? "By thy word," I'm continuing to read, "by thy word thou hast said, I have ordained thee with a goodly name." Right? So the Most High has promised Moses that he would have a good name, and he does to this day. "And thou hast found favor before me." Right? "But now I pray, if I have found favor before thee, make me to know the way of thy goodness, to understand thy mercy, when in thy dealing with just men, it falleth to them as it falleth to the guilty, and to the guilty as to the just." So he's saying, okay, I don't understand your judgment in this matter.
Right.
Make me to know how your judgment works.
Mm-hmm.
Make me to know what your judgment is.
Mm.
Okay? And how it falls, right? How do you place guilty on just people and how you place judgment on guilty people? Make me to know how your guilt falls so that this way I can understand the judgments which you have given me.
Right.
So he gave Moses the 10 words, and everybody understands what the Most High is talking about. He then more deeply explains and gives him judgments. Moses, you need to think like this and keep it in the front of your mind daily.
Right.
Now Moses is like, well, your people corrupt yourself, and you said you want to kill them all. I don't understand this judgment. And now what happens is Moses is lost context.
Right. Right.
Okay, I know y'all gonna sit down and say, what? What are you talking about? In this, Moses has lost context, right? The Most High always says, I will not kill the wicked. It's always a test of your obedience to the instruction. So he's saying, I don't kill the wicked. I don't kill the righteous. I only kill the wicked. So Moses is now confused about this context. All right. And on the contrary, how it indeed befalleth the just according to their righteousness, and the guilty according to their guilt, that I may find mercy before thee, and it be made manifest by thee that this people is thy people. And the Most High says something. He responds and says, await until the face of my displeasure shall have gone away, and afterward I will give thee rest. So the Most High tells Moses, okay, wait, be patient, right? Once my displeasure, the people who have brought displeasure before my face have been dealt with, and I finish sorting and sifting them out, then I will give thee rest. Right? And he said to him, if thy wrath go not from us, suffer us not to go up from hence under the frown of thy displeasure. So now Moses says to him, if your wrath, if your anger does not go from us, then don't ask us to move from here.
Right. Right.
Right?
So pretty much, because I even see this today, because we now know that who we are as a people, we have this idea that automatically makes us righteous because we are the Bani of Yashral. But that's not the case. It's every man pretty much for themselves. It's what you do of following this law and following the Yah is what makes you righteous.
Right.
Not because of the people, because you're the people.
Right.
That automatically makes you righteous. And that's kind of like what I'm getting here
Right.
from Musa is that, okay, you tell me to bring these people out. Okay. I gave them the instructions. They made a covenant deal saying, okay, yes, we will do this. And then they do things wickedly and it destroys them. They wind up dead. You die. Okay, so how are you determining who dies and who lives? It's kind of where
Yes.
Musa is at this
That's
point.
where Musa is. And, Moses, at this point of the questioning, he's like, I killed the ones responsible according to your instruction, and I'm still getting this anger from you.
Yes.
I've killed the ones responsible. They dead. And now I want to atone for these people, and you're still upset.
Yeah. Because Moses loved the people.
Again, this is where the discrepancy comes in. Now, the Most High knows how to sift,
Yes.
right? The Most High knows how to sift righteousness and righteous people out of wicked people. Okay, so when you're looking at this and you're getting that idea and that concept, you have to keep this context. So the Most High is not having an immediate conversation. He's having an extended conversation. So Moses's conversation, right, is a continuation of a prior conversation with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is a continuation of a previous conversation. Abraham, Isaac's, and Jacob's conversation is a continuation of Noah's conversation and his covenant, going all the way back to Enoch, and then from Enoch back to Adam. So it is a continuation of the conversation. It never changes. The people and what they are dealing with over time changes, but the context of the Most High's conversation has never changed.
And you know what? A lot of us don't actually understand. Yeah, y'all was ready to destroy all of them.
Well,
He
when you
was
say
done.
when you say all, it's only one generation.
Yeah, he
Just the older ones.
yeah, he was finished.
Right. So it's just the older ones.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, I can start again with the young ones.
Right. So you're not as safe as you think you are because you're the people.
Right. Being the people
Don't mean a thing.
being the people
Right.
is a magnificent claim. However, it comes with a consequence and the benefit.
Right.
So the consequence is, if you're going to be the people, if you're not in the land, you have to relocate. Right? And when I say in the land, I don't mean just the state of Israel today, because that's not the whole of the land. So, but you have to come back to the region, right? And you have to have your law, and you have to regain the customs and traditions. You're going to have to actually become the people.
Right.
Now, that's if you claim to be the people.
Right.
If you don't claim to be the people, right? And you are the people, well, it's going to force you out to become the people anyway over time. Right? So as the people who know they are the people come and they rebuild cities and towns and communities. Notice I said rebuild. You're going to have to build it from the ground up. So as they begin to do this, then others will come and migrate to them as the situation becomes harsher. So you have to repair the breach. You have to make a bridge. So if you're going to be the people or claim to be the people, well, you're going to have to get up and you're going to have to work and invest in actually becoming the people. That is going to have to be created, which means you're going to have to come out of the land of your captivity, right? If you don't know how, that just means you're not the leader to do it. However, we know how. We're here. We're doing it already. Join hands, right? It doesn't matter if you're a captain over 1,000. Congratulations, you've established your 1,000. Bring them and come in and join hands.
Right.
We have to build the wealth and the community together.
Right. Right.
You know, we've been going over this one pocket system for a long time. And I think in recent times, I found ways to simplify it. Right? But the most important thing that I want people to understand is you have to create the foundational system from the ground up. You cannot apply it in someone else's government. It will not work.
Right.
The American government is in league with the Jewish people in their community. They're in league with Europe and UK. They're all a coalition to establish what they established. They're the reason why these Jewish people have taken over Jerusalem as it is. They did this on their own.
And you know, like Musa grew up in the house of Mizraim, of Pharaoh's house. You don't see Musa taking what he gained from Pharaoh's house to establish what is Yah's. He's literally, I mean, he was also a king of Cush, you know, so he only took what Yah established to build. When they went into the land with Joshua, they had to build. It wasn't already fixed for them. They had to literally build from the ground up the way of Yah, and it couldn't be built anywhere else. It had to be built within the land.
Right. And that's what it has to be today. Nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed.
Okay. So verse 16, in what will it be known that I have found mercy before thee in the converse of thy Shekinah with us, that distinguishing signs may be wrought for us in the withholdment of the spirit of prophecy from the nations, and by thy speaking by the Holy Spirit to me and to thy people, that we may be distinguished from all the peoples upon the face of the earth. Right? So now Moses is asking, in what will it be known that I have found mercy before you? Speaking to the Most High. But in the converse, the conversation of thy Shekinah with us, that distinguishing signs may be wrought for us. So is it the conversation you're having with us? Is it the signs and the wonders you perform for us? Right? In the withholdment of the spirit of prophecy from the nations. Right? So the Most High is saying, because you're not talking to outside nations, this is what Moses is saying. Is this the mercy? But if you pay attention, the Most High speaks throughout the house of Shem. Well, he spoke to Noah, he spoke to Shem, he speaks to Abraham, right? He spoke to Lot. The angels went to Lot.
That's right.
The Most High spoke to Laban. Moses is alive. It's Numbers chapters 22 or 23. We're going to get there eventually. But Moses is alive, and the Most High is speaking to Laban. Right? The Most High talks within this family.
Right.
So this family is considered a nation that is Arabized or co-mingled. Right? Internal disputes are settled through the law, period. However, the Most High speaks to anyone in this family.
You know, I believe that a lot of us need to understand it doesn't all begin with the house of Jacob. This goes way back. You know, all the way to the house of Shem, the house of Noah, the house of of
Enoch.
You know, but it doesn't begin and end with, oh, now this is for the house of Jacob. These laws, what Moses gave us in the wilderness, what was the oral law in written form. The law just didn't begin with us in the wilderness. The law has always been established from the very beginning. And we, as the people, Yah baraked us, blessed us to be able to, because didn't he go to Ishmael? Didn't he go to Esau to ask them to follow this law?
They didn't even get to that part yet.
Oh, okay,
So
okay. I won't go too fast.
So see, you already read.
Yeah, yes. I won't go
And
that fast.
that's all the way in Deuteronomy.
Okay.
They don't even know that yet.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
So the Most High speaks to the family, right, of this seed line, and he just keeps making divisions as certain people kind of flake off and go their own ways. So he can make a division where he wants to make a division, and he says exactly where he makes the division. But however, he can speak within this entire family line as he sees fit. Right? So you cannot have teachers of this law be of outside of your people. Right? They can't teach it because they can't perform it. They don't know it. You have to teach. You have to learn it yourself, and you're going to have to teach them after having learned it yourself.
Right.
So the spirit of prophecy from the nations, and by thy speaking by the Holy Spirit to me and to thy people, that we may be distinguished from all the peoples upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh said to Moses, this thing also which thou hast spoken of will I do. For thou hast found mercy before me, and I have ordained thee with a goodly name. And he said, show now unto me thy glory. Right? So now the Most High, Moses is asking the Most High to be shown his glory. Right? And now you start to understand this context, this conversation, right? So now the Most High is speaking to us again, right? Not directly, indirectly. He's speaking to us again because we have found again the book of the law, and we have begun to act upon it. Right now, okay, it's just a few. Okay? It's just a few. But you have someone who is an expert, who has lived this in this land for many years. Right? Many years. I've been here many years, and slowly developed the mastery of the law to not only share with you, because if you've watched some of my previous videos, I just read, I didn't teach. I had to complete the 7 years of service, the 7 years of training to be able to teach. So now you're looking at it, and I'm telling you, it is speaking again, which is why everybody else is now coming to confusion. The Most High is no longer going to allow them to continuously be successful. You're awakening now because the criteria is now being. All right, we're back. And we are now going to continue with verse 17. And Yahweh said to Moses, this thing also which thou hast spoken of will I do. So the Most High tells Moses in verse 16, he says, make it that distinguishing signs may be wrought for us. Right? Let us have conversation with your Shekinah. Right? And withhold the spirit of prophecy from the nations, which the Most High also do. And by the way of speaking by the Holy Spirit to me and to thy people, that we may be distinguished from all peoples upon the face of the earth. So now, if you come and join in this covenant, if you come and join in this work, we have these benefits promised. You don't have it nowhere else. Everywhere else, you will remain in captivity. You remain a slave. You will die.
Yes.
Right? So now the nations are going into confusion and we're able to build. This is not a coincidence. It comes through taking the steps, not a coincidence. It came from taking the steps. Now, me, I am an Israelite from the house of David. However, this means nothing to you. It means nothing to you, right? And I say this because while I am taking these steps and the Most High is keeping his promise according to this instruction at the appointed time, which was shown to me and to others, now you're going to see the world continuously change, right? So in 2019, when my birthright was announced in Jerusalem, after that, immediately the plague came and we went on lockdown for 2 years. So it happens the way it happens, but it's not a coincidence. It's for a purpose. Now that I'm finally released to teach, the Most High is now speaking to me, not directly, indirectly. I have a book, right? I have the customs and the traditions which I have lived for years. And now he's speaking through me to you. I promise everything that I am telling you as it plays out is going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen, but it's not going to happen in the way you imagine it.
Right.
So we have these promises, and Yah spoke to Moses, this thing also, which thou hast spoken of, will I do. So we have these promises now. We have this now, this seal for those who come in, join with us to build and obey. So even though I'm telling you what the plan is, I promise you, you won't be successful in doing it anyplace else.
Right. Or any other way.
Or any other way. And nobody else can apply this until they have come here and done their 7 years minimum 7 years of service to help build this. So somebody will say, all right, wait, I'll wait and see. Be my guest. Okay? And for thou hast found mercy before me. So Moses has found mercy before the Most High, and I have ordained thee with a goodly name. And he said, show now unto me thy glory. So now Moses is asking to see the Most High's glory, right? And Moses is talking to a cloud. He's like, all right, now show me your glory. And he said, behold, I will make all the measure of my goodness pass before thee. So he didn't show every side of himself. Right? Moses asked for his kindness. Then Moses asked for his glory. And then Moses says, no. My glory you cannot see. No man can see my glory and live.
Now,
So he says, I'll make my goodness. I'll show you goodness.
And you know, him to say this, because we were taught at the burning bush, Musa saw the glory from the back of Yah.
As you could clearly see, this is not at that time.
No, so he's never.
It's not at that time. He never saw the Most High at all. Yes. Nobody sees him. So he says, I'll show you my goodness, and I will give utterance in the good name of the word of Yah before thee, and I will have compassion upon whom I see right to have compassion, and will be merciful to whom I see it right to have mercy. And he said, thou cannot see the visage of my face, for no man can see me and abide alive. And Yah said, behold, a place is prepared before me. So now Yah, the Most High says, listen, there's a place prepared here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt stand upon the rock. Here, you're going to stand up on this rock. And it shall be that when the glory of my Shekinah passeth before thee, I will put thee in a cave, a cavern of the rock, and will overshadow thee with my word until the time that I have passed by.
Overshadow thee with
My word until the time I have passed by.
Mm.
And now this is, so he says, I'm gonna make you come, you're gonna stand upon a rock, you're gonna climb up this mountain, okay? And then in this mountain, there's going to be a cave, and I'm going to put you in this cave, and I will make my word pass by until my word overshadow you. It's going to overcover you. It's going to be in front of you until the time I have passed by. And he says, and I will make the host of angels who stand before me to pass by. And thou shalt see the hand border of my tefillah. This is a tefillah, right? This is I am a bondservant, right? To the Most High. And this tefillah that I wear, right, is bound to me and is bound on my left hand. Okay? I have to bind it on this hand. That's what the Most High said to do. That's what I do. Bind it to this hand. And this tefillah, this binding inscription, this binding covenant, this binding agreement of my glorious Shekinah, but in the face of the glory of my Shekinah, thou canst not be able to see. And Yah said to Moses, hew thee 2 tablets of stone as the former, and write upon the tables the words that were upon the former tables, which thou didst break.
I laugh because the first tablets, Yah himself wrote.
He carved it out the mountain. He wrote upon it. Moses studied it. He memorized it over 40 days. He knows it.
He knows it. He breaks it. The words lifted off, returned back, and now Yah said, okay, now since you broke it,
you put it back. Now the Most High doesn't change.
Right.
Jerusalem is destroyed because of myself and my peoples. My forefathers in antiquity. It is our fault. It is our fault we are in captivity. It is our fault we never followed the rules with perfection. It is our fault that we don't get up and repair that which was broken because we broke it with our own ignorance and disobedience.
Yes, our choice.
It's a choice.
Choice to be disobedient. So it is a choice that we ended up in slavery because we chose to be disobedient.
And if you're watching this, you have a choice to continue in your disobedience or to correct it. So, and Yah said to Moses, hew thee 2 tablets, remake them, and be ready in the morning. And at morning ascend thou Mount Sinai and stand there before me on the summit of the mountain. Go back up to this same mountain with these 2 tablets that you made now. No man shall ascend with thee, nor any man be seen on all the mountain, nor sheep, nor oxen grazing on the side of the mount. And hew thee 2 tablets of stone like the former. And Moshe arose in the morning, ascended the mount of Sinai, as Yah had instructed him, and took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone. And Yahweh revealed himself in the cloud of the glory of his Shekinah, and Moshe stood with him there. And Moshe called on the name of Yahweh, of the word of Yahweh, and he called him. So now Moses goes up there and he calls to the member of Yahweh Allah. He's calling him. Show yourself to me. And Yahweh made his Shekinah to pass by. Now there's the cloud again.
Right.
Before his face. And proclaimed out loud. Yahweh, Yahweh Allah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Merciful and gracious. Long suffering. Close in mercy. Abounding to exercise compassion and truth, keeping mercy and bounty for thousands of generations, absolving and remitting guilt, passing by rebellions and covering sins, pardoning them who convert or revert, one and the same, unto the law, but holding not guiltless in the great day of judgment those who will not convert or will not revert, visiting the sins upon the fathers, the rebellious fathers, and the rebellious children unto the third and the fourth generation. And Moses makes haste and makes salah. He bowed himself upon the earth and worshiped.
Wow.
Salah.
Salah.
It ain't Selah.
Salah.
Salah. S-A-L-A-H. Salah. This is the first iteration of Islam. Right? So now I can take this time because it says Moses makes salah. Right? After seeing these words written by clouds and he's reading them in the sky. The angels are passing by and he makes salah and bows himself. Now I can tell you. All right? So this is the first iteration, the first understanding. Each iteration, each chapter is appointed. So the variation that's assigned to you by a bloodline is assigned to you. The law in itself have a generality to it, but you may be given a certain right, a certain permission, and a certain restriction. So the Islam given to the Ishmaeli will have 90% of the same law.
Right.
And then he is given a certain permission and a certain restriction according to him. This is how it goes. The ones to the Israeli, Bani Israel, have a certain restriction and a certain permission. This is how it is. It's not in any way, shape, or form unified that everybody is the same because everybody is different.
Right.
So what goes for the Ishmaeli is to the Ishmaeli. What goes to the Bani Israel is the Bani Israel. Right? The sons of Yasharal or Yasharallah, or however you decide you want to pronounce it, whatever dialect, it's this way. And even the tiniest alterations, like the sons of Levi, their rights, duties, and permissions, give them a certain permission and a restriction. So Levi, right?
Mm-hmm.
These sons have a certain position.
Mm-hmm.
Yehuda, Judah, Yeyadi have a certain permission and a certain restriction. Everybody have a certain permission and a certain restriction. And then there is the general law, which all of us
Right.
must abide by.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So if you don't know how to bow on your face like Moses and pray, you need to come learn.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know about the proper service, what permissions you have and what restrictions you have, you need to come learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is how it works. So when people say, "Are you Islamic?" I say, "No."
Right.
Because when you think Islam, you think I am Islamic in the Ishmaeli way. No, I am forbidden from the lifestyle of the Ishmaeli way, the worship.
Mm-hmm.
I must obey the words of the Prophet because Prophet Muhammad tell me, no, this not for you. Go back a generation. Go back a chapter. The next chapter is the chapter of Yeshua, Isa, right? Jesus. And Jesus say, listen, you a son of Israel, this chapter is not for you. You have to go back a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Each prophet have a chapter. But when I went to each prophet to say, I am of this bloodline, I am from this family, I will worship God in your way. He say, no, this not you chapter, go back.
Mm-hmm.
And each one tell me the exact prophet I'm supposed to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
So I go up this line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I go up this line. And each chapter I go back from Nehemiah to Ezra, they all point back and say, you have to go back to Moses,
Mm.
to Musa, they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I go all the way back to Musa, and Musa says, listen, this is how this is done.
Mm. There's no other way.
There's no other way for Bani Israel. However, I did verify in each chapter the instruction from Nehemiah all the way back to Joshua.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Everyone have his instruction that I was to obey and perform. And I obey and perform,
Right.
right? I obey and do,
Mm-hmm.
which up until now has not been done. And you couldn't do it because it wasn't appointed to you.
Mm.
You have not the ability because the Most High is talking specifically to a person of a bloodline of a generation at a generational time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I am able to, it is proving itself
Mm-hmm.
or reproving itself.
Mm-hmm.
It proved itself in times past, it is proving itself yet again.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are looking at this Tifillah, and I want to go through this with you. So it starts out, Ya Allah, Al-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
If I say Bismillah,
Bismillah.
right? In the name of Allah, Bismillah, Al-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, I have the same proclamation.
Mm-hmm.
What is this doing here? Oh, I know. Any Muslim who wants to get upset with me, he cannot. He must submit to the Quran, who says there will be another teacher, not the messenger. There's another teacher. He says, Bani Israel will lead you into the true Islam. There is another form that will unify us all. But I am not talking to the Ishmaeli.
Right.
I am talking to Bani Israel. You have to change your mind and come and be subject to the law which I am teaching you. You can take the time and debate my words. You may get the book and cross-reference materials. You can do anything that you like. But in the end, you'll see.
You know, there are many that thinks that when we're in the land, it's only just going to be just us.
Oh, no, that's not the case.
No.
Now, Moses came out with a lot of people, and the Most High didn't want the mixed multitude.
Right.
Right? He wanted to deal with the children of Israel, and he knew they would come out a mixed multitude. However, the Most High got rid of all those who contributed to going back to the Egyptian system. You see? So right now, I'm not dealing with the whole world. The children of Israel, the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites are dealing with the whole world. They are dealing with the whole world. And they are looking to the whole world and trying to sort out who's authentic, who's not, who's the strongest, who have power, who have money. They're looking for everything and claiming they are looking for the truth. They look at celebrities and athletes. I'm sitting here holding the truth and they don't want to look at it. They don't want to look at this because this is real. This means you are responsible. You are accountable. You have to now give your wealth to this, to build this, and then come back and work in this to prosper it. Every day you go to work in America, you are prospering your enemy. It doesn't matter whether you love him or hate him. The taxes come out automatic. You receive the rest of your pay and you proceed. But you didn't take no portion to build up your own. You know? So I'm going to come back after this.
Wow. That's something to think about. For real, for real.
It is. It really is. Welcome back. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
And he said, now, if I have found mercy before you, Yah, let the Shekinah of glory go among us. For this is the people of a hard neck. These people stubborn. They hard-headed. But pardon thou our guilt and our sin, and give us the inheritance of the land which thou didst covenant unto our fathers, and change us not to become an alien people. And the Most High said, behold, I make covenant that I will not change this people to become an alien people. Nevertheless, from thee shall proceed a multitude of the righteous, and with all thy people will I do wondrous things in the time when they go into captivity by the rivers of Babel. That's where you are now. Right? You're in the rivers of Babel. Right? You're in the possession of the Hasidim, the Hasidic Babylonians, the Chaldeans of Europe. Yor. Yeah, you is Yor.
You know what a lot of us do not know is that we were there at Mount Sinai. We've come back. The ones who died in the wilderness. We've come back to be able to fulfill this. You know, we've been here before.
I mean, we're going to get to all of that on another go round. This is your first read. We're going to take it at face value. Then we have to go back and judge everything by this law to see if this law holds up to scrutiny. So he says, and I will do wondrous things when they go into captivity by the rivers of Babel, for I will bring them up from thence and make them dwell within the river Sambation. And like wonders shall not be created among all the inhabitants of the earth, nor among any nation, and all the people among whom thou wilt dwell shall see in that day the work of Yahweh, for terrible is the thing that I will do with thee.
This is talking about now.
Yeah. Most people don't know that the Sambation River, right? The Sambation, this river is in Afghanistan.
Whoa.
It is a river that flows rocks and boulders.
Whoa.
You can look it up. So this is, he says, you will be within the border, right? So Afghanistan is to the north. This river flows, and you will be within this border. That's a border that you will be within. Observe thou which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out. So hold on. Observe, come and do that which I command thee today. Behold, I drive out from before thee the Amoree, the Canaanite, the Hittite, and the Pharisee, and the Hibite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to thee, lest thou strike covenants with the inhabitants of the land into which thou art to enter, that it may not be a stumbling block unto thee. So when you come here, okay, you have to be careful about making agreements, because they can become a trap and a snare unto you. This is why you have to come here and we have to build our own, establish our own, and work amongst ourselves to keep the wealth of the community inside the community, to prosper the community from within. In dealing with outside people, you may come into an agreement of which you are unfamiliar with the details and the customs. And it can be a snare and trap you and impoverish you.
So when you said observe, there was something that you said what that means again?
Come and do.
Come and do.
Right? Observe, right? You have to be here to see.
Right.
And you have to do to see. So to observe, in order for you to see, you have to do.
Right.
Right? But thou shalt rather destroy their high places. Now, people don't know what high places are.
No.
Okay? We'll get to that. And break their statues and cut down their groves. Okay? Now, when it says this, there is a entire stipulation that goes with this. It's not a free for all. It's not about destroying your brother's stuff. There is a foreign people here, and they have put their stuff here. It has nothing to do with your brothers. And since you all are blind to faces, you don't know who is who and what is what. You have no idea. For it is not lawful for thee to worship other gods, for Yahweh is zealous and avengeful. His name is Allah. See that?
Yes.
Allah, the zealous and the avenger. So you have to understand.
Mm.
I'm telling you, y'all getting ready to come across some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm putting out so much material that it's like we're getting ahead and I have to compound. I know you guys are not absorbing everything at the rate of which I'm putting it out because I read daily. And I know you guys are coming back and checking videos from time to time and this, that, and the third, but it is what it is. You guys, I got to make sure I get through the material and then start going through other material, because by the time you guys arrive here to actually build, right? I can't build and do this, right? The time for the video will be greatly reduced.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting all this material ahead of time. So anybody coming in new, you will have these video courses. You can just go through the video courses and everybody on the next level will be hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So lest thou strike covenants with the dwellers in the land, and they draw thee astray after their idols.
Mm-hmm.
And they sacrifice to their idols and invite thee, and thou eat of the sacrifices of their idols. So the Most High has a problem, right? If you eat the meat, the sacrifices, the animals they killed in the name of the idols. Now, this has nothing to do with your brother. You don't know who your brother is? Don't worry about it. We're here to help. Because you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, this is the problem. So when you go to Europe, the Europeans sacrifice to their idols. When you go to Africa, the Africans sacrifice to their idols. However, when you come back to the house and the land of Abraham, everybody here,
Our brothers.
we sacrifice to the name of God, of Allah. You have to. There's no other way. Okay? And thou take of their daughters for thy sons. So now you have a problem with you eating the food and marrying the daughters of idol worshipers. And when their daughters wander after their idols and they make sons also go astray after their idols. So the women continuously lead the sons. They teach the sons to worship idols. This is the biggest grip on Christianity today, or any other idol worship, is the women don't turn from their belief systems. And then they teach the children the belief system. So now the Most High is repeating the same law that he just gave.
So when we are marrying, it is within our family line, which is Shem.
Right.
Not just Yasharal itself.
Right. You can marry an Ishmaeli. You can marry within the family.
Right.
Right? With the mutual understanding that you will continue in the same customs, the same traditions, and you will obey the law that Allah gave you.
Yes.
Very simple.
Very simple.
No this, no that, no argue, no fuss, no fight. Molten gods you shall not make to you. So you can't make nothing. No idols. Okay? You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread 7 days. Thou shalt eat unleavened, and as I have commanded you, in the month of Abiba. For in the month of Abiba you came out free from Mitzrayim. Whatever openeth the womb is mine, and whatever openeth the womb is mine, and of all cattle thou art to consecrate the males of oxen and of sheep. But the firstling of an ass thou mayest redeem with a lamb. So the Most High don't want you sacrificing the donkey. He
Right.
don't want the donkey, right? Because you can't eat it.
Right. Right. Because the sacrifice is a barbecue.
Right. It's the barbecue or the stew, but he's like, if you sacrifice it, you have to kill it, cook it, and eat it. He
Right.
said, hey,
I don't want the donkey.
don't make me the donkey.
Right.
In the place of the thing that you cannot eat, take a lamb. But if thou redeem him not, thou shalt cut him off with the blade. He says, if you don't redeem him with a lamb, just kill him. And each firstborn of thy sons thou must redeem, and they shall not appear before me empty. So when you come to redeem your sons, they have to come with the offering.
Right.
They have to come with the sacrifice. It's food.
And a human can't be a lamb.
No.
Can't be a lamb.
No.
No.
A human cannot be sacrificed.
Spice.
You do give a lamb for the son.
Right.
Okay? There's this exchange. You do make a lamb for the birth of a child.
Right.
Okay? We don't eat the people.
Right. Ooh, good. we can't eat them.
You don't eat people.
Right.
We don't eat dog, cat, nothing. We only eat what's appointed for us for food. That's it. And I don't care what anybody else eat. Again, let me reiterate, I'm only talking to the children of Israel, the children of Yasharal, the Israelite, the Hebrew Israelite. Okay? You don't eat it. Now, I know y'all somewhere and you're licking your lips on these filthy, nasty shrimps. Why do I say they filthy, nasty? Is anything wrong with it? For us, yes. We're not allowed to eat this. This is a restriction. And there's a benefit for us in not eating it. So we don't eat everything. We only eat what's appointed to us for eating, for food, and we accept the restriction.
Right.
6 days shalt thou work, and on the seventh day have rest. In plowing time and in harvest thou shalt rest. That's it. You work 6 days and rest on the seventh.
Right. So here.
So hold on. This means you take the days. See, here in the community, we don't have days of the week. I mean, the whole world does, but we don't work according to that. We keep a count. We keep the sacred count. You don't know the count, you need to come join the count, because you have to join the count and the watch. Then you will know the time. Okay? So it's not a Saturday. It's the seventh day. So we have a count and we have a watch.
Well, once again, this lets us know that in order to keep the Shabbat, we have to have our land.
Right, because
you're resting from plowing time and in harvest.
Right, if you don't have land, you ain't plowing or harvesting.
You can't be doing the Sabbath.
That's why everything starts with buying land. Nobody said nothing. We're not dealing with nobody about war and this, nothing. Just take our money, we buy a land, and we make our community. That's it. Same way Abraham did it. He bought land. Okay? You buy land, we make agriculture, we make livestock. This is our business.
Right. Right.
All right? The Feast of Weeks also shalt thou make to thee in the time of the first of the wheat harvest, and in the time of ingathering at the conclusion of the year.
So even with honoring the feast days, you have to have land.
Now, if you notice the Feast of Weeks, there's two different times.
Right.
So the wheat that grows here grows in a couple of weeks. So you plant it, we have the time of when you plant it, it comes up in a couple of weeks. So we have two harvests. So there's the one in the springtime and the one at the end of the year. You see? So the corn harvest, the end of the ear, the corn harvest is the last one. It come in the fall, right? At the beginning of the winter, we harvesting it. So now you start to understand the Feast of Weeks is two. So there's two Shavuot. There's two Sabbatot, two times to renew the covenant. And then the other things that grow in between, we give them as they are ripe. We don't just...
So either way it goes, keeping the Sabbath, keeping the feast days, we have to have land. So if you're saying, "Oh, I keep the Sabbath," you're lying to yourself because you can't. You're not. I had to learn that when I came out. Someone said to me, "You're going to realize you're not where you think you are." And honestly, I realized I don't care how long I have been reading the law. Well, we know it's the law. I don't care. I didn't know anything until now, until I got this book in my hand, began to learn the culture, the customs, and I'm learning. I'm at zero. I'm now learning. So you have to be willing to put your pride to the side and yield yourself and accept the fact that you don't know what you think you know, and be open to really learn and understand. And you're learning every day. You don't have this thing figured out. You have said repeatedly, you have to have the land. Well, it has been said multiple times now, and even we're seeing it now. You cannot keep the Sabbath and the feast days without having the land. There's no way around it. It's written. This is what it says. This is what you got to go by. So, even to those of you that ask me, "Oh, what about the Sabbath? What about the feast?" Don't concern yourself with that.
If you ain't gonna buy the land,
There's no point.
there's no point.
There's no point.
You have to be self-governed on your land.
Yes.
You have to. You have to have possession of land. You have to grow your own products because you have to offer from the Most High, from that which you grew, from that which you made, that which you processed.
Right.
You cannot bring what somebody else brought and say it's good because you don't know if it was contaminated at no time because you had no hand in the making of it.
Right. And in order to eat the lamb and everything, you can't go to the grocery store and buy their lamb.
Nope.
We're supposed to slaughter it.
It's got to be fresh.
It has to be fresh.
No, when I say fresh, I mean in that hour fresh. Like, this happened right here, right now, today, and this is for this feast today.
Yeah.
You can't go to the store. You don't know when that was.
So if you're not here, don't tell me, "Oh, we keeping the law." No.
Now, 3 times in the year shall all thy males appear before the master of the world. Yah, Allah of Israel. Right? Yah, the God of Israel. 3 times in the year, you have to appear before him. Now, this doesn't mean you come in and you fly in for a festival. This means you appear before him with the fruit that you worked on. If you worked on wheat, you're going to bring flour. If you worked on sheep, you're going to bring lambs. But you came, you bought land, you cultivated it, and then you have this to appear before him to give him what he asks of what you made. And this goes towards what? The further advancements and the development of the community as a whole. For I will drive out the nations. Now, notice he didn't say you drive out the nations.
Exactly. He will do it.
So if you come in, remember we farming.
Mm-hmm.
We're farming.
Right.
You got to come in, buy the land, and start the farm. Before you can even hire somebody
Mm-hmm.
to farm for you, you got to have the farm.
Right.
So before they can come in and need a job,
Mm.
you have to have the farm. Now, the Most High says, I'll take care of them. I'll create the need for them to either work for you or to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to contribute to buying the farm. Buy the land. I'll make them leave. I'll make them move. I'll make what you're doing prosperous. Now, test this. And enlarge thy borders. So you're going to start here and it's going to grow. And no man shall covet thy land at the time of thy going up to appear before Yah, thy Allah, 3 times in a year. And no man is going to desire your land just because you left to go make an offering or a sacrifice to try to attack during this time.
His protection.
You shall not sacrifice the victims of my Passover before you have done away with leaven. So you got to put the leaven out your house. Nor suffer the fat of the paschal sacrifice to remain about the altar till morning. So the Passover doesn't remain outside. You can't go seconds after sunrise. It's a nighttime festival. We eat it that night. When the sun comes up, that's it. The best of the first fruits of your land you shall bring to the sanctuary of Yah your Allah. You are not allowed to boil or to eat flesh and milk mixed together. No more cheese and meat.
No more cheeseburgers.
Oh, I know. See, I done lost everybody now.
Or
I know you
pepperoni
mad.
pizza.
No meat and your cheese together. Okay? No meat. I don't care what meat it is. Right? You know meat. The meat that have the blood in it. The chicken, the cow, the lamb, right? The ram. Of all the lawful meats, the meats that are offered up, these are meats. Of all the meats, no cheese.
Ooh, yep, you gotta give up the cheeseburger. Have just plain burger. No cheese.
No cheese and meat.
Yes.
No lasagna. No lasagna with meat and cheese. If you having cheese, you don't have meat. If you having meat, you don't have cheese. No milk and meat.
No macaroni and cheese with a piece of chicken.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Okay?
I think some people.
I know they mad. I know they turn me off right now. How are we supposed to eat? You mean to tell me I can't have macaroni and cheese and barbecue chicken? No. No.
See, it's these small things.
If you can't obey this, hold on, let me tell you. It says why. Lest my displeasure be kindled against you. This is what God says. God says if you eat this, he won't like you. He don't like you. So now you tell me if you love God and then eat a cheeseburger, you a liar.
Yes.
You lied. Because he said, because this is what he said to Moses. And all the prophets said, listen to Moses. So now you telling me, I don't care whether you're Muslim or Christian or whatever you believe at the moment. If you're of the children of Israel and you eating meat and cheese, you are wrong. Because the Most High says, I'll be angry with you of the children of Israel. This is the children of Israel. This body Israel. If you do this, he won't like you.
You know, I one time posted about this, and I had some people arguing about, well, Abraham gave the angels the milk and the lamb. But this is what this says. But they want to use that as an argument to give them
Well,
permission to
that's
eat
first of all, that's another deeper thing because they never read that yet.
it. Yeah.
We'll get to the Hill Koth in the go round, right? But yes, Abraham did serve because we have a traditional dish which have the yogurt, the milk, and the lamb together. But the milk is optional, and you don't have to put it on there. The angels put it on there, and they ate it. And the Most High laughed and mocked them and said, "You talk about Abraham. Abraham didn't eat this, and you know I don't like this. I consider this strange."
Wow.
So there is that story. We'll get to that when we come around because y'all got to even get there to judge it. So we're gonna have to go back around. See, she read already for the first time. She got her first read through, and she's trying to she's kind of like, wait a minute, I'm catching up. Oh, this was okay. Don't worry, y'all gonna catch up now.
So we see that this is a law.
This is a law. No milk and meat. Now remember this. We're gonna remember all these laws because every time we go back, we're gonna cross-reference.
Yes.
That's when we go into the house of judgment. Right now, you guys are getting your first read. You're hearing the law, and you have to decide whether you're gonna obey or die. And the fruit of your trees, the fruit of whose trees? Your trees, with the grapes and their branches and their leaves be laid waste together. So the Most High says, I'll destroy your stuff. And that's exactly what happened. All our stuff is gone. You enjoying your cheeseburger though, right?
Woo! So all of that's destroyed just because you had meat and milk
together. If you have meat and milk together, the Most High will destroy your land and destroy all your stuff. And y'all love cheeseburgers and barbecue chicken and macaroni and cheese together. All this
pizza, meat lover pizza.
Yeah. All the pizza with the meats and the cheese and the milk. Nah, no. All right. And Yah said to Moses, "Write thou these words upon the expression of these words have I stricken my covenant with thee and with the people of Israel."
Stricken.
Chapter 34 and 28, we will begin tomorrow. So the covenant consists on you obeying these words, which I just read. Now I'm reading the law, the covenant, and the judgment, and we have gone through this now twice. You'll see by the time we get to the end of Deuteronomy, you will have read over the same law with greater and greater detail multiple times. So that by the time we get to the end of Deuteronomy, chapter 34, and we start back